Okay, last but not least, this one might not exactly scream complex fractions when you see it, fractions and fractions, but that really is what the negative exponents mean. This is where you want to be really careful. Some people are tempted to just switch the x to the -2's, move this one to the bottom and say, okay, now it's x squared. That's not really what the property says. The property says that x to the -2 is the same as 1 over x squared, and x to the -1 is the same as 1 over x. So if we use that, we can go like this. I will say that there's other ways to approach this problem. We kind of looked a little at factoring when we have weird negative exponents and such. You could factor and cancel as is, but at some point you're going to want to deal with the negative exponents for these. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it the same way we've been approaching the others. So method 1 says you need a common denominator. It's going to be x squared on both the top and the bottom. So we're going to multiply by an x over x and an x squared over x squared. And then on the bottom, we'll just need to multiply that 1 by x squared over x squared. So we're going to get 1 over x squared. I don't know if you can see it, but I have stuff in the way on my screen, so I have to scrunch a little bit. Minus x over x squared minus 2x squared over x squared divided by 1 over x squared minus x squared over x squared. Okay, so when we go to combine, we're going to get 1 minus x minus 2x squared over x squared for our numerator, and 1 minus x squared over x squared for our denominator. So we've now performed all of the subtraction. We are ready to say things are now officially grouped as they should be. Let's multiply by the reciprocal. X squareds will cancel. And then I think I can even do better than that. Let's see, I think I can factor this. You could factor out a -1 if you'd like, but I actually think it's good practice to try and do it like this. So the 1 is going to be a 1 and a 1, but the -2x squared, I'm going to definitely split up x and x, but I get a 2 and a 1, and actually I don't really have to worry too much about which is which because right now the first two are 1. So either way, I'm going to get an outside of x and an inside of 2x. I want that to add up to this -x, so I better make it a -2 and a +1. Okay, so now I have outside 1x, inside -2x, and that does add up to -x. For this other one, I have a 1 minus x, 1 plus x. So I can cancel a 1. Oh, nope. Getting ahead of myself. Hold on, can I erase that? Not the 1 minus x, the 1 plus x, that one. And I'm left with 1 minus 2x over 1 minus x. If you do this differently and you get 2x minus 1 over x minus 1, you are perfectly right. Those are exactly the same thing. If you take either one and multiply top and bottom by -1, it will turn it into the other. And multiplying top and bottom by -1 doesn't change the value. So they are the same thing. So either way is totally fine. If WOMAP tries to disagree with you, you just let me know. I will fix that. I don't think it will, but you never know. It gets finicky. Okay, so method number 2 on this one. Bypass order of operations and just go straight to clearing fractions. So I'm actually going to start one step in. For this one as well, we want to start by picturing this as fractions in fractions instead of picturing it as negative exponents. But now I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by the x squared of the big fraction instead of just multiplying individual pieces. So lots of distributing to do. If I multiply x squared by 1 over x squared, I get 1. If I multiply x squared by -1 over x, I get -x. And if I multiply x squared by -2, I get -2x squared. On the bottom, x squared times 1 over x squared is 1. Negative 1 times x squared is negative x squared. And now we're at exactly this same point we were at up above, where we can say, okay, that factors. It's a 1 minus 2x times a 1 plus x divided by 1 minus x, 1 plus x. And the 1 plus x's cancel, and there's our 1 minus 2x over 1 minus x. So again, it's not that you're going to get anything different by doing it a different way. It's just learning a couple of different algebra tricks. So hopefully that gets you going. You have online homework that focuses on complex fraction, and then it's also part of your worksheet that gets into a lot of other mess. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any trouble.